Gay people of Reddit, what was your oh crap I'm gay moment? Year 8 when my bully started humping me to kid logic prove I was a poof. I enjoyed that more than he wanted me to. In my defense, he was a very good looking bully. Sio Nathan, my first real gay boner crush. Yeah, I've probably heard of this or thought of this before, but Nathan's probably gay. It's kind of in 3 parts, but the oh crap moment is obviously part 3. 11 years old, had a neighbor girl in her 20s that I admired a lot for no good reason. 14 years old, one of my friends was a B-girl and I really liked hanging out with her, and one night I had a sex dream about her out of the blue. Also, in hindsight, I was never attracted to guys. I only liked getting attentions from guys for my ego. 15 years old, met a girl and crushed hard af and finally realized I liked girls. I thought I might be bi, but I realized I never was attracted to guys later that same year. I was about 11, and I kept talking trash about this female artist. I was just going on and on about how I hate her music. Truly, she is just the worst. Another peer finally asked me, if you don't like her, why do you keep talking about her? Oh, I just didn't know how to express attraction. Stupid sexy artist. I finally accepted that masturbating to gay pee but closing my eyes and imagining boobs just as I came wasn't enough to make me straight. LMAO. My middle school teacher, who I looked up to and coincidentally very beautiful, told us that she had to take some time off because her wife was giving birth and she wanted to be there for her. I was 11. I'd heard of people being gay or lesbian, but thought it couldn't be real in the back of my mind. I hadn't heard of bi or trans or ace people at that point either. My family is quite traditional. I never knew liking other girls was an option, much less something that could happen to me. It's like how you know dinosaurs are real when you're a kid but you have no frame of reference to conceptualize a dinosaur because you've never seen one. I'd been wondering why I hadn't developed a crush on my best guy friend like I was supposed to. Hindsight 20/20 haha. I also distinctly remember googling on incognito stuff like how to tell if you are lesbian, am I lesbian quiz, what is a lesbian, and flannel. The lesbian quiz told me I was only 60% gay because I didn't own flannels or have dyed hair, which pee me off. P. Lying in bed that night, I thought about holding hands with a boy, gross and they look like frogs, versus holding hands with a girl, exciting and wonderful, and accepted it internally then. My first gay crisis moment wasn't until bio class freshman year of high school when my very pretty classmate tucked her hair behind her ear and I tripped staring. Legitimately went butt over tea kettle, knocked over a stool and swept a stack of textbooks off a table. Said it was because my shoelaces were untied, but it was actually because I was too busy staring at the mesmerizing curve of her wrist and wondering what kind of shampoo she used to get her hair so soft and gorgeous. And flannel lol OMG. Spending more time than necessary picking out underwear in department stores, wondering what the models look like without underwear. That shortly led to looking up gay PLOL. That was a very steep escalation. Lesbian here. When I was around 5, my brother brought home his first girlfriend. He was 15 and she was 16. I remember being obsessed with her. Her name was Tara and she had long brown hair and would compliment my drawings. She gave me a teddy bear and I still have it to this day. Looking back, I had a huge crush on her. God lol. I remember finding my boyfriend's sister overwhelmingly, uncomfortably, pretty, awkward. I'm bi. I grew up in a very conservative household. My mom is Alex Jones levels of paranoid and political. I strongly believed I was straight due to all the propaganda she fed me at an early age. I went to boot camp and one day was on security detail during the night. Afterwards I took a shower and it was just me and another guy who had security detail with me. Guy jokingly says, "Hey man, nice butt." We laughed and I didn't think about it too much. Cut to me back in school and I'm thinking about that moment during lunch. My girlfriend is talking to me but I'm completely spaced out and I'm thinking, do I have a nice butt? Eventually my girlfriend sees me spacing out and goes, "So anyways, what are you thinking about?" I pause for a second and go, "I think I might be gay." We're good friends still. She was a huge help in me coming out and I probably wouldn't be the man I am today without her help. But I still think it was funny AF. Shout out to your GF for being a good person. I was like 12 or 13. I watched the movie but I'm a cheerleader because it was on TV late one night and I was like, yep, I'm gay. I picked this movie out from Movie Gallery to watch when I was 6, about to be dropped off with my grandma to babysit me. My mom didn't read the movie description and my conservative grandmother was horrified. Oh man. I had just turned 11 and recently discovered HBO or whatever late night cable P and had been watching for a few months. Some shows you'd get full frontal male nudity, but mostly you'd just get female full frontal and everything except the dude's dong. I remember figuring this out and was watching this really hot scene with a guy and a girl and just being so frustrated cause all I wanted to see was his dong. Just remember thinking come on show your frickin' dong dude and was like oh that's what being gay means. I had always been told it was a choice so the realization that it was just my natural, unbidden desires really turned my world upside down. Years later I actually identify more as bi since. TBH. P is great, but definitely into men. I never knew until I started to develop feelings for my best friend. We had been close since middle school, but around 8th or 9th grade I started feeling attracted to her. Of course, since we both came from Christian backgrounds, I tried to deny it, and I even made up stories about liking guys just to seem straight in front of my peers. But when those feelings wouldn't go away, my mind was just like, frick. Before then I had never had any real crushes on anyone in my school, and I thought that romance was sappy and not worth my time. I still kinda feel that way today, but I realized from this incident that when I fall for a girl, I fall hard. I can relate to that last sentence 100%. I'm a bi woman and have been in an amazing relationship with a man for the past 8 years, but for some reason I fall for girls way harder than I fall for guys. Like, ridiculously harder. Especially when I find out they like women, too. When I was a Mormon missionary in Eastern Europe, the other missionaries were tempted by the pretty girls and lingerie ads, and I was tempted by the other missionaries. I fell in love with so many other missionaries. So much sexual repression. Gayest experience of my life and most of them were straight, though several of us have now come out. I'm so embarrassed but it was while watching that absolutely grim show A Shot at Love with Tyler Tequila on MTV. I was an 18-year-old girl, had never met a gay person that I knew about in real life, and boom I loved all those lesbians on the show. Danny the firefighter. Thanks for all the feelings. Can't believe it's a shout out to Tyler Tequila for her dumb show. I was in elementary school and watched that and it made me go huh. I wanna see Tyler make out with the girls and bam bisexual me. Edit. Came to the conclusion it was Tyler Tequila's fault we are all bisexual. Dang 4 hours late to the party here. Hopefully somebody sees this. The hot girl on college campus that my friends all wanted but she wanted me. I was questioning if I was gay and found guys attractive but never told anyone. I thought I just needed to have sex with a girl to prove I wasn't gay. Went back to her room, making out, get her undressed, decide to just go for it and with my face literally inches from her lower lady bits I say out loud, I'm gay. Sorry, it's not you. I'm gay. Really gay? She was pee and confused. I got dressed and went back to my buddy's dorm. I told him I was gay. He was shocked but supportive and happy he has a chance with her now. That's a great story. I love the idea of you just shouting I'm gay at someone's vagina. I was at summer camp between 7th and 8th grade. I'd made a new friend and we were talking about stuff, getting to know each other. He made an offhand comment about one of his friends who was bisexual. I was like, what does that mean? I'd never even heard of the concept before then. It had never even crossed my mind that people could be romantically interested in the same sex. So he tells me what it means to be gay and bisexual. I think to myself, huh, am I? I didn't know I could be like that. Maybe I am. Spoiler alert, I was. I once, as a joke, when I was 12 pretended to be bisexual to mess with my friends. Quickly I became the bisexual kid and crap got out of hand. I then went on a PR tour around 6th grade to make it clear I was messing around. Took a while but word got out and it was all cool again. I'm 35 now. I'm totally freaking bisexual. Perhaps subconscious knew more than I did at that point. I never had any crushes or interest in anything romantic until quite a few years after my sister and stepsister did. 13 months and 22 months younger than me, respectively. Then, when I finally developed a crush, it was on a girl. Suppressed it for years after my crush rejected me. So hard even I, myself, believed it wasn't true, until I got drunk around a campfire with my best friend and ended up making out with her all night. My best friend and I have now been married for 5 months. AWW, what a sweet ending. I'm B, and I realized it a little while after a friend of mine came out to me as B. How do you know? I asked her. I just know that I check out both girls and guys, she replied. That doesn't mean you're B. Everyone does that. I check out girls and guys too. I was 12 years old. I was watching the movie Practical Magic for the umpteenth time. Sandra Bullock did something particularly attractive, and it clicked in my brain and suddenly I just knew. I'd been wondering for a little while. After a female friend of mine did something unintentionally suggestive and I had a really strong reaction. But it was that particular viewing of Practical Magic that took me from is it possible I'm gay to wow I am an entire lesbian. I just wanted to say that wow I am an entire lesbian made me laugh out loud. Not sure why. Just something about that phrasing. So thanks for that. My best friend, who grew up as a good Irish Catholic schoolgirl, was walking behind a woman in an airport in the most amazing yellow dress, just going on and on in her head about how beautifully it flowed, how it curved, how it settled on. After minutes of this, she realized that actually she was just staring at that butt. It was an amazing butt. Oh crap, she thought, as she realized, looking back down her life, every time I've admired another woman's clothes, I've totally been admiring them. So, yeah, that butt changed her life. I had a similar story. I was walking out of school at the end of the day. I was about 14, and there was this girl a couple of years older than me walking in front of me. While walking I kept looking at her butt. I couldn't look away. After about 5 minutes of this I was like, oh crap, I'm attracted to girls. I'm B, fresh out of the closet, even though I tried my hardest to suppress it. The moment I realized my taste in man, I was watching Captain America Winter Soldier in the cinema. The moment WS jumped from the bridge into the roof of a car and walked straight into camera, just made me go, oh, frick. I realized that not only I wanted that to have that physique, to cause that same effect on women, but I also wanted to obey a man like that. Fun fact, my father was by my side during the movie. My wife and I watching Chris Hemsworth as Thor. Wife, frick, he's so hot. Me, god dang right he is. In 6th grade, my teacher made an announcement after people had been making poor taste gay jokes. He said, there's a high change that one of you in here is gay, and you probably don't know it. It might be you. So shut up. And at that moment I was like, Lumfeo, you're okay, sure, I'd KMS if I was gay. And then 2 years later I was cranking it to a guy, and after a while of doing that I was like, oh, maybe I am gay. For what it's worth, I'm surprised how many of the comments use I was cranking it. Note to self, any of your friends who refer to jerking off as cranking it are likely gay. I thought you'd never ask. So, I was in my first year of university and I had just started dating a guy. I'm a girl. He was actually the guy I lost my virginity to when I was 16. We had broken up after 3 months together, and then, my first semester at university, we reconnected. He was very smart, handsome, and sweet. For some reason, though, I just wasn't feeling it. I wanted to be into him, but I just wasn't. Throughout late high school I had some crushes on girls that I got close to, but I thought that it was probably just a normal thing all girls experienced. I had always only dated men. So, anyway, this guy and I went to visit some mutual friends downstate, and when we came back to our town, we were getting gas for his car and we ran into some of his friends. They said they were going to a strip bar. We lived on the Canadian border where the drinking age was 19, so that's where we would go out. My boyfriend asked me if I minded and I shrugged and said no. I didn't really care, to be honest. So I went along with him and his friends. It was my first time at a strip bar and it would be my first time seeing another girl naked in real life. It was kind of a sketchy place in the middle of nowhere and there was just one stage with a pole and seats around the stage, so we sat there. Now, most strip bars make the girls wear something on their nipples or keep their underwear, but like I said, this place was sketchy and the girls were getting completely naked. This one girl came on stage when I first sat down and started dancing. She took off her top, then her underwear, and then she was on the stage floor with her legs spread and I had my oh crap, I'm gay moment. Broke up with my boyfriend a week later and we never spoke again because he basically hated me when I told him why. Dated a bunch of different girls, some seriously and some not, up until I met my now wife at the age of 24. We've been together for 5 years now and married for 2. Canadian strip clubs, making American girls realize their attraction to other girls for many years now. I was watching some YouTube video when a girl caught my eye. Had the thought that if I was gay I'd be totally into her. Then I realized that was not a heterosexual thought. I'm not gay, I'm bi, with a tendency to develop crushes for girls more than guys. It had to be when I went to Florida with my friend for spring break and she cut her toe open on coral. I don't think I'd ever seen her bleed like that before and it made me realize how much I wanted to keep her safe and happy beyond in a friendly way. The feelings never went anywhere sadly, but it really did be like that sometime. Sounds more like a oh crap I'm a vampire moment to me. It was just another sleepover at her soon to be ex GF's birthday party. I always have trouble sleeping, and we were at a stage of acting casually gay and cuddling, etc. We never kissed or anything, just cuddled and hung out in our underwear, etc. We didn't go to bed until the sun was rising. I was lying behind her awake, and noticed the curve of her hips in the sunlight, and the soft back of her neck, and also how nice she smelled. It finally clicked that I wasn't straight, and I had a bit of a confusing day after that, sleep deprived and accepting that I was like them. This may sound dramatic, but the LGBT life chose me that day. Extra to the story, she was about to go away for 8 weeks for Stanford's summer program. That morning, I resolved to give her my first kiss before she left. I got her a bag of Tootsie Pops as a parting gift. She loved those, asked her not to judge me, and kissed her the day before she left. She was surprised, but that ultimately started an intense love affair, and for her to leave her abusive GF. We're engaged now. I am probably as straight as a plank. I am a guy, but I am a sucker for anything romance. GL to you and your future wife. I am always happy when two people find love. One of my gay friends was telling me how he realized he was gay, and I found myself relating to everything he was saying. Before that, I thought I was asexual. I knew I wasn't into girls but had never really seriously contemplated whether or not I was into guys. Perhaps because I was afraid of the conclusion I'd reach, so I just settled on thinking I was asexual. In hindsight, I'd always been into guys. I just misinterpreted all my feeling of attraction as feelings of jealousy. I'd see a hot guy and tell myself that I really wanted to look like him and that was why I couldn't stop staring. It made sense at the time, even though it sounds absurd in retrospect. During that conversation, the realization that I had been in denial for years just hit me and I knew I was gay. I can't remember that exact moment, but I'll share the story of coming out to my parents. One night my mother came up to my bedroom and talked to me about how depressed and quiet I had been of late. She told me, "I want you to know, no matter what your father and I love you." I started crying, and she said, "If there's something bothering you, tell me, so I can help. I love you, and can handle anything." I covered my face, bawling. She then said, "We won't judge you for anything, not even who you love." At this point, I realized she knew and wanted me to say it, but I wasn't ready to say it. Instead I said, "I didn't want you to find out like this." She comforted me, and stressed the need for me to tell my father soon. I was very reluctant and scared to do so. Well, she told him the next day when I was at school, explaining years later that she couldn't keep a secret from her husband like that, and wanted to be sure he would have time to process. When I got home my mother fessed up, and my dad said, "Son, I don't care who you love. It makes no difference to me, so long as you are happy and healthy." I sat on the dining room table and cried again, but this time for being wholly accepted by the family I love and that loves me. So really, I didn't come out, My mother outed me, but in the best way possible. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad, for being the best parents any son could hope to have. I love this story. My daughter has never really officially come out. She's just always been who she is and never hid it. I finally just decided to tell her I love and support her no matter what. She opened up even more and began sharing about a girlfriend she had. I really love positive coming out stories. As a 17-year-old, like a decade ago, I kept getting asked when I'd get myself a little girlfriend. My best friend since 3rd grade had a girlfriend for 2 years by that point, so I guess my family was wondering where mine was. Never mind that I had excellent grades, was in several clubs, on the football team, and kept out of trouble. Apparently all that made me incomplete was my lack of a girlfriend. When the subject came up, it'd say that I either just didn't find any girls I really liked, or that I was focusing on my grades. That last part none of my parents took any issue with and moved on. I kept finding myself thinking about one guy I was close friends with. He wasn't my best friend that I mentioned earlier, but he was in our circle and also on the football team like we were. Back then I mostly thought I just admired him or wanted to be like him or maybe jealous of him or something. Hence him always being on my mind. I tried to be closer to him and we talked, and as our friendship grew I realized my adoration for him grew stronger. IDKY. But one day of practice something about him just really stood out to me. And that was when I realized I was also really physically attracted to him. And that paired after all the talks we had. He didn't know how I felt about him. Was my ding 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 it's official. You're gay moment. One day I told my best friend I had a crush on the guy and I told him everything I'd been feeling. He was super understanding about it all. I was scared to come out and admit it at first, but he wasn't shocked or angry or anything. He treated me like normal. He was also the one who was there by my side when I came out to my parents and they freaked on me. They didn't throw me out, but they treated me like crap as often as they could until I finally went off to college. Of which they drove me and saw me off. But not without making crap super awkward. But before then, when I needed to run away, that friend was willing to take me in. And after college we rented a place and became roommates. To this day he is still my best friend. And I don't think I could have made it through anything without him. I never said anything to the guy I crushed on though. Not me, but more when I realized my daughter was gay. In her early teens she was indifferent to boys. Like she'd get a boyfriend almost because she thought she should. But it never lasted and she was more irritated by them if anything. As she got older she floated the idea she might be bi. Then this year at 16, she started talking to another girl, always texting, phoning, just giddy with it. The joy and enthusiasm she had for his relationship told me all I needed to know. She came out about 6 weeks ago and I am very proud of her. When I saw the high school football players and cheerleaders, and had no interest in ogling the cheerleaders. For some reason I was more interested in the deep voices, muscular bodies, and broad shoulders of the football players than the cheerleaders. When I see the cheerleaders I think, 1. They're attractive, and 2. I want to wear that outfit. As it turns out, most crossdressers are straight, like me. I'm a girl and I was 12-13 when the third Harry Potter movie came out. I saw it 8 times in the cinema because my gay butt was fascinated by the fact Hermione had gotten boobs. Told myself I just liked her pink hoodie though. That same school year I was always dragged along on my female best friend's dates with her first boyfriend and couldn't work out why I was absolutely devastated every single time. Suddenly hit me I was madly in love with her. Cue 10 years of gay panic. Hahaha OMG, the fact that you convinced yourself you paid to see a movie 8 times because of a hoodie has me rolling. When I was 11 at first I thought I was normal, but looking back there are these little hints that I look back on with how did I not see that. The first was when I went swimming with the school. In the men's changing room another person naked started pelvic thrusting joking about with his friend and I noticed and had to quickly hide because the blood started pumping. No idea what was going on. I recall feeling confused and a tad ashamed. The second was this cartoon book about puberty and its effects on the male's body and I recall getting aroused by those men. Around 13 is when I discovered internet p still thought normal even though looking at those images I stared more at the men. Then at 14 I was just staring at gay p and I recall blurting out to myself, wait, Am I gay? Looking back on that memory, I find it funny just because of my response. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.